Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I hope you guys are doing well. Today's reading we see starts off with Judgment, which sounds so scary, so terrible. The Judgment card. But is it really? Because what it's signifying is that we've come to the end of the road in one way, shape, or form. One manner of living, one way of being. And it's time to actually assess where we are, and where we want to go. But maybe the bigger question is really finding out, who am I? Who do I really want to be? So when we look at it that way, it's really all about choices. And that's a beautiful thing because you know what? We can make a decision, and we can make a decision for ourselves. And sometimes it takes a lot of bravery to make a life-changing decision. But that's what we're being asked to do right now. We're asked to do not only change our own lives and make something of them that we truly want on the deepest spiritual level, but we're also in a time period where we have to remake the world itself. We're going into a different era. And that is a blessing. As we know, we've been in what's called the Kali Yuga, the Dark Age. And dark in the sense that mankind does not understand who they are and what their potential is. We have been basically living in the dark and not understanding that source and endless possibilities exist within us and around us. We don't have to accept what we are seeing and witnessing in this world. We can just come out and say, hell no, I'm not going along with this. And we could step outside of the box and perhaps outside of the matrix if we really have the courage to do so. For it does take courage. And there are risks involved. And many of us, are living relatively easy lives. We might not view them as easy, but when we look at the suffering that we see in many places around the globe, in Yemen, for example, with the horrible war and 5 to 10 million people facing starvation, South Sudan, another 5.5 million facing starvation, all around the globe. Look at Jakarta, Indonesia, sinking. Tremendous floods going on there. Look at Australia losing anywhere between 500 million and 1 billion animals. Clearly, most of us are pretty well off, even if we are in debt, even if we don't own our homes, even if we don't even own our vehicles, even if we don't own anything. At least most of us are well fed and have some sort of shelter, where so much of the world doesn't still. In this age where we have billionaires hoarding energy that could be used to make others' lives better. And some idolize these beings that live a life of luxury, a life of, seeming bliss, a life of seemingly no worries. But in reality, we are all judged according to what we do, whether you want to call it the law of cause and effect, or karma, or divine justice. So with hoarding of resources and control of resources comes a lot of responsibility. And we have to step up to the plate, and we have to demand as a society that things change on the deepest and most profound levels. It's no longer acceptable, for there to be such a disparaging just inequality that is mind-blowingly, staggeringly horrific. And while some can just sit on resources, allow resources to just sit and rot, when they could change lives and actually save lives, it really speaks to why this has been the Kali Yuga, why this has been a dark age. It's so obvious when we look at it. And if you're living here in the United States or in UK and Europe and some other countries out there that are very advanced, that have all sorts of luxuries and riches, then perhaps, it's easier to just go along and not think about it. Not really, not that you don't care about others suffering, but just that it's easier to just sort of put it out of your mind. And maybe you could just simply say, well, what can I do about it anyway? I'm over here. I'm just one person. I have my own things to contend with. And, that is true. But as we band together, we can affect tremendous positive change. And what we're seeing here, the whole bottom row is talking about opportunity of change, the triumphant success. That's basically the Ace of Swords. And so, there's new beginnings in front of us, new chances to get things right this time. And when we look at the soulmate card, that is saying that we want to find the right people that are going to support us in the right way, the right family. It might not be blood, it might not be blood at all. And it could be people from all different races, nationalities, creeds, and religions. But your true soul family, and soul family is coming together now thanks to the internet. And as we've said, technology is a double-edged sword. So, in some ways it's being used to control us and manipulate us. But at the same time, it's bringing a lot of us together that would not be together otherwise. And when you find your family, because it's just an easy flow between you. You might not see the world exactly the same light, but you do hold some common values that are true. And the next card over, Past Unknown, that's up to you because you have a choice to make. Are you going to go ahead and go along with societal norms and lead a normal, quote unquote, sane, rational life? Or are you willing to stick out like a sore thumb and just scream to the high heavens if that's what you have to do? Are you willing to be looked at as being a crazy conspiracy theorist? Or, in reality, are you being a truther? Truth to yourself as well as truth out into the general public. If we're not true to ourselves, then who can we really be true to? Many of us don't even know who we are, haven't even thought of the question. They just, go along blindly wearing this mask, this egoic mask that is a reflection of the society itself and not a reflection of their higher self and who they truly are. So when we see these cards down the middle line, well, what Ganesha is telling us with splendor is to notice the beauty in the little things. Notice the beauty in Mother Earth, in little things like a butterfly, a flower, just how amazing this whole system that nature has brought us is. And it does need to be restored. Mankind has done a tremendous amount of damage. We have been a very unbalanced society in this dark age, and we need to rectify that and come back to living in harmony. And then we go over to Matsya. And this is all about protection from natural disasters. When again, we get in touch with our higher self and that intuition, that voice within, listen to that. Listen to the guidance. Sometimes it might sound crazy, and you might get an impulse to do something unusual. People might say, what are you doing? That doesn't seem logical, and yet we have to listen to the voice inside, because many times it can save us. It also is about preserving ancient traditions and knowledge. And so a lot of our ancient traditions, they do have good roots, and there's knowledge that's been completely hidden up that we are uncovering right now as we speak. And we're realizing a lot of things that we didn't know before. And so, it's all about our personal choices. We can have abundance, but abundance might not look like what it might have looked to you as if you were talking years ago. Tomorrow's vision of abundance, it could be even just simply, living in a tent, a small RV. It could be a small apartment. It could be a communal setting. For many people, that's going to be what happens. A lot of people are going to be coming back into communal settings and living more in harmony with nature in a quote-unquote green way, where we're not impacting the environment as much as we have. But the main culprits in this has been the corporate machine. And that's what we got to change. And, it could be as simple as simply buying from the local farmer down the street, maybe even paying a little bit more instead of supporting these mega corporations that do not have humanity's best interest in mind. If they did, they wouldn't hoard resources like they do. So we must be true to ourselves, we must be true to the planet, and must be true to each other. And we see the Ten of Water. And so this is a contented and rewarding family life. Emotional and material needs are met. Trustworthy relationships. This is where it all is heading towards. It's finding your people and being with your people and impacting the world together as a unit. And we will come together in smaller units and then band together into bigger units. And the Hopi have the prophecy of the Rainbow Warriors, and that is us. That is who we are. We come out of every tribe, nationality, religion, philosophy, background, and we find the unity in diversity. And that's the name of the game in these times. So, my friends, as always, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi. Come join us there as well, as we try to, and we will, change this world and get it going in a positive direction. God bless, and namaste.